Well, it's tough to say that because I say that because oftentimes maybe if you do find out, it'd be interesting to know what kind of window you have to make a decision like that. If it's a week or it's 2 days, then obviously a system where you have to recommend someone else who is competent enough to take the job is probably the best way. But other than that, I think there needs to be some sort of consensus with some of the residents in the district, maybe some of the leaders, or really finding out. Not necessarily coming from one voice, I think is what I'm trying to say, making it a collective decision rather than the onus on one person.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, candidates, and we'll get back for one more round of questions with the District 4 candidates, Kathy Luna and Ray Saldana. But first, 12:42, we go into the newsroom for Elizabeth Ruiz on KTSA. KTSA, spending a few more minutes with two of the candidates in City Council District 4. Ray Saldana and Kathy Luna are here. Letitia Cantu had so many reasons why she could not be here today. We don't have enough time to go into all of them. But the three of them comprise the field in District 4. And also helping us sort of hold their feet to the fire, Elaine Wolff and Gilbert Garcia from Plaza de Armas. TX.com. And Elaine, you get the next round of questions, starting with Ray Saldana.
Great. Our city council had sort of a C- spring for ethics. Jennifer Ramos, however, got off pretty easily with the ethics review board, little slap on the wrist. But in the wake of that, a lot of candidates are still telling us we have the best possible ethics policy in place, or one of the best in the nation is what they often say, you know, that our ethics policy is one of the best in the nation. But what about our ethics review board? Is that the best possible board? How would you change it?
Well, the
If
way,
not.
I think the way it's currently made up is that it's appointed by officials from City Council, and I sort of draw the allusion to teacher evaluations. So when we talk about teacher evaluations, this is kind of what I teach my students about, is the people who are evaluating teachers are the folks that know them best. And so what is sometimes they've called the solution is you get mediators to go in there who are completely detached from that teacher, who don't know her personally, and just look at her as basing it on an objective observer of what the job is being done. And I think the same thing is we're looking for objective observers of who are making the decisions about any violations to the ethics. Maybe that's a change that may be needed, and yeah, that's.
How do we get those? Do they come under the city manager's office? How do we find those people? Do we elect them?
That's a good question, because then the default answer seems to be maybe we should appoint them by City Council, but that's currently what it's made up of. I don't know. I can't give you a real creative way of doing that. I think there's certainly individuals who would need to be as detached, and I can't tell you where we'd find them, but it's certainly, in order to get that clear objectivity, I think we need to find folks who are not always exclusively appointed by the City Council.
Kathy Luna, what do you think?
I don't know whether I want elected at Ethics Review Board. I don't think I'm in line with you appointing them by City Council members, because then you get people that are running in the same circles, doing the same things, and they appreciate the same type of ethics. In other words, well, a slap on the wrist, okay? I had a real problem with that.
With that ruling in the
yes,
Jennifer
with that
Ramos
ruling
case.
in there. First of all, I had a problem with the city attorney not giving good advice to these people who were holding hands with people out, doing business. I think that you should have a city attorney that gives good advice, and I think it should be followed. And possibly, I do think maybe the Ethics Review Board should be elected. I'm going to come to that point, because then you would have the people making the decision as to who would be doing the ethics review.
Mm-hmm. You bring up the advice. You're going on the memo that the city attorney's office wrote to Jennifer Ramos, but to a certain extent, they're just answering the question that was asked of them. You felt that was tailored too narrowly in terms of advice? Or?
Yes. I think if you have something that you're doing and you're suspicious that it may not be the exact right thing to do, and you go to the city attorney's office and you say, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm involved in, should I get out of this and go away from it, or is it all right ethically for me to stay where I'm at? So I think that the advice that city attorneys are giving to city council people about ethics problems should be very, very good advice, and it should be very clear cut.
Mm-hmm. Ray, to a certain degree, it sounds like maybe she's saying too, if you have to ask, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if there's that inkling of some sort of misconduct, or not misconduct, but a mishandling of what it is that you're doing, then I think that in most often cases, then you need to actually be vigilant about it. And I think Kathy's point is great. You know, you need to have a clear consensus from the folks that you're asking for advice that you're not doing something wrong. And I think if that needs to be reformed, that should be, because we need to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
All right. Ray Saldana and Kathy Luna, thank you both for coming in for a second round. And we're really glad you're here, and we wish you both luck in the early voting, which is going on now, and Election Day. And also a big thank you to Elaine Wolff and Gilbert Garcia for these questions from Plaza, thearmistx.com, which has comprehensive coverage of all these races, and we appreciate that. We'll have the audio podcast of this forum up this afternoon on the Jack Riccardi page at ktsa.com, as well as our YouTube channel, and the video podcast will go up shortly thereafter. Really quickly, we asked you on the JR poll today, should the U.S. release some of bin Laden's death photos? Almost every caller and almost every online voter said yes, but now the White House has voted on our poll question, and they're saying no. They're not going to release these pictures, any of them. So something we'll certainly be talking about with Kevin Wall this afternoon and here tomorrow on KTSA. Our KTSA news time, 12:56.